WTH.
What the hell?
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 This is the WTH, the WTH podcast.
Hold on to your butt.
Jason Casey, Kareem Daniels, and Nate Darling. From the Darling New Media Studios.
This is the WTH podcast. Yeah.
Hey, it's welcome in. It's us. What a time it be. Jason and Kareem joining me now. Hello, gentlemen.
What up? What's happening?
Hey, Jason, that's your mother-in-law back there taking care of dishes.
Oh, can you see her?
Yeah, I sure can.
I thought I changed it so you couldn't see anybody.
There we go. I mean, I got no problem with it.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Now there's nobody in the picture.
She cuts a dashing form, so to speak. Oh boy, we're a couple minutes late. Sorry about that. If you were waiting around on YouTube or Facebook, or our new Facebook group, the WTH Podcast Facebook group. If you haven't heard about it, join it now. Get in, get on, get funky. I don't know if that's the right way of putting it, but there you go. Coming up on the show today. Sounds like someone's slurping at the bottom of a soda cup. Coming up on the show today, we're going to talk about an NHL draft pick. And he's got some bullying in his past. Yeah, we're going to talk about that a little bit. Borat is out. We're going to discuss that film, at least in some form or shape or other. So I'm looking forward to that. And you guys both saw it, right? Or at least parts of it?
I saw it, yeah.
Excellent. Most excellent. All right. There we go. Oh, it must be coming from Jason's kitchen. I'm like, what am I hearing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's the thing that we all deal with now. So let me see if I can put this over so I can look at you guys without looking away from my camera. So that's what I'm doing right now. So please hold as I fuck around with stuff I should have done before we started the show. If this works, I'll know in 1 second. It'll just make my life a little easier, and the eye lines of the show will be better. But other than that, hold on. There's the remote. Okay. It says follow any instructions on your device. There are no instructions on my device right now. None, I say. Absolutely none. Oh boy. We are a week away from Election Day in the United States of America. And that is not to mean that that's the only day you can vote. I've already voted. I'm sure both of you guys have already voted as well. But
I'm voting this week.
You haven't done it yet?
No, because we were waiting for Barb's niece to come over so we could go through the ballot with her.
Oh, okay, that's right. So at least you had you had a legitimate excuse for it. So that's at least you have that. All right. So this is not going to work for me. So all right, get out of here. I'm just gonna have to look over like that when I want to see your reaction. So what do you guys want to talk about? Jason, I'll start with you.
Unmute yourself.
Jesus Christ.
Eat your ass. Oh, eat your ass. I'm literally looking at my neighbors now and going, I will eat your ass.
So I finally was able to smoke some meat yesterday.
All right.
So, yeah, and I've been waiting until it was cooler and it wasn't smoky outside. And I could breathe.
That, yeah.
And then it was like hella windy yesterday. But I made some amazing ribs. Really great. It was about 5.5 hours, 6 hours. And then I made some chicken. I got this jerk seasoning from Allspicery, which I was like, okay, it's like a spice to put on. It's not like a marinade or anything like that. But it is a really good like mixture of spices, and it's spicy, and it just has like you can have the taste of cinnamon a little bit. Amazing. But so this time what I did, so I've been reading a bunch of stuff on online, and one of the things I do to get really crispy skin on the grill, because I decided that I wasn't going to smoke that because you don't really smoke chicken. It needs a higher temperature.
Yourself, motherfucker.
Well,
Exactly.
listen, you can smoke chicken, but it's going to give you rubbery skin if you don't do it at a high temperature. You need to do it like at 350, 325. You don't do it at 225, 250.
Disagree.
Okay. All right.
Disagree all day long, because I've done it and I've had the most fantastic chicken. What you do, let me help you out. You put it at like 150 for like an hour just to get the smoke flavor in. Get that smoke flavor in, get it in, smoke it in.
Yeah, but my pit doesn't run at 150. Like it runs at 225. So like that's 250. So, but at the same time,
inferior pit.
No, not really. I mean, like, no. Anybody that's ever had my chicken says it's the best chicken they've ever had. The turkey that I made last year was the best turkey anybody had ever had that'd been over my house. So that's fine. You can say that. I made it in my smoker. Dude, okay, dude. We'll have to like when this gets over, we'll do a smoke off. We'll bring our ribs and we'll bring some chicken because my chicken's gonna win because I still get the smoky flavor out of it and it still gets smoked and it's amazing. But I have crispy skin now. Like really crispy. And I get it. I know you probably do 150 and then you do it at 350 or 400 for like the last 30 minutes or something, right? Nate, is that what you generally do? Something like that?
Oh, I cook it for a long time.
How long do you do it at 150?
Only for an hour.
Okay.
Chicken's 150 for an hour and then like 300 for 3 hours.
Okay. All right.
And then back down to about 150 to finish it with some smoke.
Okay. So I do it. See, first of all, the chicken, any meat you cook is going to stop getting any smoke once it gets past like 140 degrees. It doesn't take on any more smoke. It's set at that point. That's just the science behind it. It's just
okay.
The way it is. I mean, it just is. But I get it doing it a long time. But there's not the collagen, so you don't need to smoke it for a long time necessarily. And comes from me looking at this. Anyhow, it's fine. Cooked this amazing chicken last night. But what I did is I've been looking to figure out like different ways to get the skin really crispy the way I like it, like almost like fried chicken, but like the skin really crispy. So what I found is when I dry brine it, and then I put it in the refrigerator for overnight, uncovered to let it dry out a little bit. At the end of it, what I did is I put a little bit more salt on the skin, but with a little bit of baking soda mixed in. And that's what I did. And then I sprayed some oil on it, a little bit of oil on it, and then put it on my Weber grill offset for like 40 minutes, dude. And I just let it bake off the flame with my wood in it. So it's getting the smokiness, cherry wood. It turned out fantastic. It was like the best chicken I've had. Fall off the meat, like fall off the bone. Tasty chicken, and the ribs also amazing like that. I loved it. Sorry, that's what I want to talk about is barbecue.
No, that's cool.
Specifically,
I'm glad you were able to get out and get some on because I did a tri-tip same day.
Yeah,
I'm like, well, I've got the morning. Let's throw on some tri-tip. It came out all right.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Here's what I did. I didn't want to mess up the grill, so. I cooked it on some aluminum foil, which is fine. My mistake was, and by the way, the end product is delicious. So it's not a terrible mistake. It's more of an aesthetic thing. If I were serving it, because I never turned it over and because it was sitting on foil, the bottom of it does not have the smoke ring when you cut it open, but it still came out delicious.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I was gonna say it looked delicious.
It looked good.
Well, I took the side that had the smoke on it. I'm not taking a picture of the other side. What am I, an idiot? No, it came out really good. And when I cut into it, I'm like, so it's like a 3/4 ring around it. But it's all good. It's all good. Kareem, what about you? What do you want to talk about?
Two quick things. Well, one quick thing. Well, two quick things. So for my rant last week, I didn't want people to think that I was being egotistical about my knowledge. And that I think I'm smart. The reason why I think I'm smart is because people that get paid to say to talk about the stuff that I was talking about actually say things that I say before I hear them say it. So I just wanted to make that clear. So smart people say the shit that I say that I don't get paid for.
Or credit for.
So now I'm through with that. Did you guys watch Saturday Night Live that I sent you?
With Adele, I did not watch that.
I watched the whole episode.
Okay, so the Adele in Africa,
yes,
was hilarious because she couldn't hold character.
Right, she was losing it.
She lost it through the whole bit.
Jimmy Fallon level of losing it.
Yeah. So, but there were people that were upset about the bit. They were saying that she was fetishizing black men, blah, 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 blah. But that is an actual thing. It is an actual thing where European women go to Africa. And actually, I knew about the Caribbean before I knew about Africa. But they actually go to the Caribbean and have sex with young black men.
Yeah, I do too. I saw Eddie Murphy Raw.
Yeah. And not even that. No. I'm saying I was there. There have been movies made about it for a long time. And then the BBC did a documentary about it, actually. So that's where the skit came from.
Here's the thing. A lot of black guys fetishize that too. So I see plenty of black guys going, yeah, white women, they just want to do me. And they're pretty happy with that. So I don't know that it's that big a deal. Even if they were.
Yeah. Like I said, there was a bunch of people that were upset about it. So that's why I wanted to bring it up. But like I said, it's just been going on. And the fact that we talk about sexual tourism, but we only talk about it when it comes to women or men, like the concept of it is expats who go do it in Asian countries. And, and again, white women get off the hook, get let off the hook when they've been doing it, going to Africa and having sex with young cats in the Caribbean. So,
yeah, it's I mean, there are so many other things to get upset about. I don't know that that's the thing that you want to get upset about. I mean, there's 90 Day Fiance. If you really want to get upset, there's plenty of women going to Africa to marry black dudes. Just on that one show alone. So here's what I want to talk about. And sadly, the U.S. has now canceled plans to offer Santa Claus performers early access to a coronavirus vaccine in exchange for their help promoting it publicly. If you did not hear this story, this was part of the administration's plan to get the vaccine out. So those who perform as Mrs. Claus and elves would have been eligible for the vaccinations as well. The festive collaboration was part of a $250 million government campaign to garner celebrity endorsements of vaccinations once they're approved. I guess Santa at the mall is a celebrity, but health authorities confirmed the advertising campaign had been scrapped. Rick Irwin, chairman of the Fraternal Order of Real Bearded Santas, called the news extremely disappointing, adding, "This was our greatest hope for Christmas 2020, and now it looks like it won't happen." That's what he told the Wall Street Journal. They first reported the story. The Department of Health and Human Services has since confirmed the existence of the Santa plan to the New York Times. The idea was initially conceived by Michael Caputo, the former assistant secretary at the department. Mr. Caputo announced last month that he would be going on leave shortly after posting a video where he accused government scientists of engaging in sedition against President Donald Trump. Yes, this is the guy who came up with Operation Santa. So it's not happening. I know you guys heard about it beforehand. What was your first thought when you heard they're going to try and loop Mall Santa in with this vaccine, whatever it might be?
You just can't make this shit up. Who would have thought of that or thought that they thought of that? It's like, you just can't make this shit up. They just
the insanity is
take you on shit that they would try. They just go further than that.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Jason, what about you? You got the little ones. Would you trust Mall Santa if he'd gotten the vaccine?
I just don't know. Like, it just crazy. Like, you talk about like co-opting Christmas, right? I mean,
Mhm.
and co-opting Santa, like, I mean, that's crazy. I mean, like, how do you even do it and explain it to kids? Like, do you just have like Santa Claus like on posters saying, "I got vaccinated, so should you"? Like, and then each Santa Claus in all the malls like says, "Yeah, you know, don't forget to get your vaccination." Like,
Let Santa poke you, little girl.
oh man, it's sad that that's the point that we're at. These are the thoughts that are being thrown around of how, like, I wonder if the way it's similar to what I heard about Watergate, where G. Gordon Liddy first said, "Hey, let's go ahead and get a cruise ship and kick everybody off, and just invite all the senators and congressmen down and get a bunch of hookers and drugs and alcohol, and we'll get some tape on them. We'll get something on them, and we'll have it on them." Everybody's like, "You're crazy, G. Gordon. No, we're not going to do that. Nixon's not going to agree to do that for the Republican Party. No, we're not doing that." He comes back second time. Hey, how about this? How about we get a hotel room in Vegas? We just do the whole floor, and we have them all come out here and booze, drugs, money, everything. No, G. Gordon, we're not going to do that. That's crazy. You're talking crazy. $5 million to do this? No. We'll get some people. And then finally, at the very last one, and this is like in the third meeting, comes he's like, "All right, how about this? How about me and a couple of these guys that I know that do some secret stuff for the CIA? We just break in and get the stuff." Okay, fine. It's like that's the type of shit that's going on. Like, how crazy can we get so we can get just the one that's not so crazy and just a little effed up? Nuts, man.
Yeah. The scientists, it's sedition because they're not. It's like, no, it's science.
Science,
motherfucker. Science. You know who's not into science? The president. He was in Pennsylvania. He's spending a lot of time there because he knows he's fucked if he doesn't win Pennsylvania. He's running against everybody, including Barack Obama, apparently.
It's really something, right? Did you see the crowd that President Obama had today? Nobody showed up. I thought they'd have a little crowd. Didn't quite have a crowd like this. No, nobody showed up.
Do you know why? Because Obama wasn't giving a speech that day. No speech. Not at all. He also dropped some knowledge that we pretty much all knew.
And I mean, truly a vote for the Republican. It's a vote for the American dream, if you think about it. It's the American dream. It's the American dream. You know, we're the party of Abraham Lincoln. A lot of people don't know that. The great Abraham Lincoln, the man that I've always competed against. I said,
"What?" Okay, let's take this in two parts.
How is he competing against a dead dude?
Look, that's part two.
Okay,
that's part two. Part one, his assertion that not a lot of people know that Abraham Lincoln was a Republican. He didn't know.
Of Lincoln.
Yeah, it's the party of Lincoln. Lincoln was the first Republican president, and literally everyone but Donald Trump knew that Lincoln was a Republican. Now on to part two. How does he think he's been competing with Lincoln his whole life? I'm open for any speculation is what that might be.
He's trying to ignite the theater? What?
No, Trump doesn't go to the theater. I don't know. But yeah, that was part. Let me see what else we've got in the old. Oh yeah, it's infrastructure weeks coming up. So I'm following Aaron Rupar, who is a reporter for Vox.com, and he posts little clips from all of these rallies, which is incredibly helpful because if you want to try and watch one of these rallies, it's enough to just make you want to kill yourself. First of all, they start by playing Macho Man for the crowd, then immediately fade it down, introduce Trump, and play God Bless the USA by Lee Greenwood, which is the musical equivalent of being kicked in the taint with steel-toed boots. It is an awful transition. There's no other way. And then he just comes out and he basks in the adulation. So Aaron Rupar says, is there anything Trump could say at these rallies that his followers wouldn't buy? And then posts this gem.
And Mexico is paying for the wall, by the way, in case you had any question. That's the other thing. So now they know it's built. Then they said, but Mexico will not be paying for. I said, no, Mexico is paying for the wall, okay? But they'll figure that out very soon.
Okay. The wall is built. It's not. There's like 400 miles of wall that they've done stuff to, but the wall isn't built. No. Mexico also not paying. This one he just posted. He just posted LOL on this one.
Yeah, we're up very nicely, 4 or 5, but we're really up much more than that. Don't forget, if we're up 4, add another 4, 5, 6, 7 to it.
Sure.
I'm not sure I'm proud of it, but people don't want to talk about it, right?
Because you're nuts.
Nobody wants to talk about anything but him.
No one wants to talk about it. Then the man who accuses Joe Biden of being confused a lot. And by the way, Joe Biden did not call Donald Trump George. He was talking to George Lopez. By the way, for anybody who saw their conservative friends posting that bullshit, that was not Joe Biden got confused and called Trump George. He was talking to George Lopez. Donald Trump gets a little confused.
Largest tax cut in history. This is the craziest campaign, right? So all my life, I watch politicians running. They always say, we are going to cut your taxes, right? We are going to cut your tax. I got a guy running now who's sort of shot. He goes, we will raise your taxes. I said, what the hell? I said, did he just say that? Yeah, he's going to give you the biggest tax cut in the history of our country.
Did you get confused, fucker? Did you? You don't have a stutter to blame it on. What's your problem? Oh, you're just rambling bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay. Rambling bullshit. Hey, I mentioned he was running against a lot of people. He's still running against Hillary Clinton.
It came out. We are deplorable. And they came out by the millions. That shirt sold like crazy.
Did he lose his place?
You know, every time that happens, and now it's happening with Biden because that's a crime family, frankly. But
him accusing other people of being a crime family is some rich shit. No, he was pausing for them to chant "Lock her up."
Oh, I see.
Did
they? I didn't hear them.
No.
Yeah, they did.
They were.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah, they didn't have it mic'd properly.
Oh.
So you remember Ali Velshi? He's a reporter for MSNBC. Trump has taken to mocking him because he was covering protests in Minneapolis and got hit with a rubber bullet. Trump calls him not the bravest guy. This coming from Corporal Bone Spurs, who hid in the bunker when people were protesting outside the White House.
Because, you know, we have to be asked in. The federal government has to be asked in. And then we did a great job in Minnesota. Minneapolis, I mean, they should have told us to go there a week and a half early. It would have been nice. It would have saved a lot of destruction. Remember the CNN anchor, Velshi? He said, we are here. They don't want to talk about riots because it's bad for them, you know? We are here at a peaceful demonstration. And behind him, right over here, the entire city is burning down, right? They had a fire that looked like Berlin on its worst day. The whole place was burning down. And then he said, the military has formed. Well, it was a great group of people. You saw that, the National Guard. And it was 1, 2, 3. All of a sudden they started 1 line, 2 lines. And they just marched forward at tear gas. Didn't Velshi get hit on the knee with tear gas and he went down? They said, he's down, Velshi. I don't even know who the hell Velshi is. I just remember. Did a little shave job on his head. I was thinking about doing it. I was going to do a little, but I decided against it. I didn't want to go down 25 points in the poll. Ali Velshi, yeah, he got hit on the knee with tear gas, right? And he went down. And he was not the bravest guy. But
this is the worst open mic I've ever been to.
No, since he brought up Minnesota and who set fire to that police as the police precinct, turns out it was a right-wing activist who set fire to the police precinct, which I said at the time.
So we didn't really cover a whole lot of the last debate on the show. Daniel Dale, who is the CNN fact checker, he breaks it down pretty succinctly.
Daniel, let's start with the big picture on how much the candidates got right or wrong tonight.
Well, President Trump was better behaved tonight, but he lied more. This was just a bombardment of dishonesty, much of which we've heard before at his campaign rallies, about subjects big and small, important stuff like the coronavirus pandemic, about Biden's policies, about his own record, about Democrats' record. It was just on and on. Biden was imperfect. There were at least a few false, misleading, or lacking in context claims from him. But for a fact checker, you're kind of sitting there with Biden. Occasionally, you're like, "Oh, that's wrong." With Trump, you're like that "I Love Lucy" episode in the Chocolate Factory. You know, you don't know which one to pick up because there's just so much. And so, again, with this president, we just see a constant barrage, incessantly, of false or misleading stuff.
You know.
So there you go. That's the break. If you missed the debate, that's what you missed.
Trump
Lie after lie after lie after lie.
Glad I didn't watch it.
Right. I did.
Yeah.
But Trump also went to warmer states than Pennsylvania. He was in Kareem's home state, and he had this to say:
Prolong the pandemic. That's all I hear about now. That's all I hear. Turn on television. Right? COVID. A plane goes down. 500 people dead. They don't talk about it. COVID. By the way, on November 4th, you won't hear about it anymore. So, COVID. Please don't go and vote. COVID. Please do not, under any circumstance, you cannot go out and vote. Except the problems are that in Florida, the people that are going out to vote, nobody's ever seen anything like it.
Okay. COVID. So he makes up a plane crash where 500 people die. If you've ever watched the news, and this was always one of my complaints about working in TV news, it didn't matter if no one was injured. If a plane fell from the sky, a two-seater, and no one was hurt, it led every newscast. Everyone. It's a terrible fucking analogy. I'll just start with that. Second of all, the only people saying don't go vote are Republicans. At all. Joe Biden is just tweeting vote. Literally, that's what he's tweeting now. Vote. No one is saying don't vote.
Is there 500 people on a plane anywhere right now?
No, there aren't. There is so much wrong with that claim that I can't even get into the whole thing. But here's the problem with that claim. Aside from how ridiculous everything is, literally everything is. As he was making that claim, we had two of the biggest coronavirus days in the history of the disease. I believe the two largest days. We are spiking. It's spiking. Not spiking. In California, we're not spiking. At least not in our part of California. And in most of California, we're not spiking. But all over the country, including places like Wisconsin, they are getting hammered with coronavirus cases. We are up to, in the United States, 8.85 million cases and 227,000 dead Americans. How long did we spend on 4 dead Americans in Benghazi?
Too long.
227,000, and it's not stopping. It's not stopping anytime soon. Texas, by the way, 18,149 deaths. California, 17,486. Florida, 16,504. New York, 33,092 people have died from COVID-19 as of the recording of this show, or if you're watching it live. It's not going away. And he is standing there talking about how it's all going away and we're going to stop talking about it once the election comes. I guarantee we're not going to stop talking about it because he's going to be there fucking it up and not helping anything through at least January 20th.
Mitch McConnell went on. They got Amy Coney Barrett through, and he went on vacation till November 9th.
Well, let me just say this about Mitch McConnell. We're going to get to him in a little bit. Mitch McConnell, someone asked me this yesterday. I got a message from one of my friends, and his question to me was, how can they take the time to confirm a Supreme Court justice, but not the time to pass COVID relief? And I replied simply, Mitch McConnell is a cunt.
And B, they don't care.
No, I mean, that's the beginning and the end of it. If you want to feel even worse about everything, Dr. Anthony Fauci is now saying that his access to Trump is basically nil, despite the claim that they're still friendly. He told Chuck Todd that he no longer has the president's ear, even though the pandemic is ramping up over most of the country. He says Trump is now listening more to Scott Atlas, the neuroradiologist and conservative think tank member that the president, I'm not taking that call, added to the task force this summer. Scott Atlas has absolutely no expertise in infectious diseases, by the way. None. And unlike what we heard in recent weeks, Fauci did not take a shot at Trump for his shift watch. He said it's more matter-of-factly, but instead he's sharing his knowledge with Vice President Mike Pence and the rest of the coronavirus task force. By the way, most of the coronavirus task force has coronavirus now.
Yes. And this motherfucker is still traveling.
Correct. That's the last of our COVID talk. I just wanted to, by the way, we will probably be talking about it, after the election, 1 week from tonight. All right. The other thing I want to bring up, just so that everybody knows, and this tweet comes from Jacob Buckdahl, who's a trial lawyer, former Southern District of New York prosecutor. And he's got Vermont roots, so he's okay. He tweets, reporters at the Wall Street Journal and Fox News have now reviewed all of the Hunter Biden related documents and determined that Joe Biden had no role. Enough. The story isn't landing. No one's running with this story. I mean, New York Post ran it. Fox News is going to be talking about it. Trump rambles on about it, but it is not catching fire like the Hillary Clinton email story did 4 years ago, because it doesn't have someone like Jim Comey fanning the flames of nonsense.
Well, he's pretty much trying to run the same playbook from last time.
Well, yeah, because he's stupid and he doesn't have anything else.
The exact same. So you get the Hunter Biden tape, which is the Anthony Weiner tape again, and the corruption part where they supposedly have somebody who says that Joe Biden took money from China on a deal. It's just the same fucking playbook again. And, I want to think that people aren't that stupid, but there are some people that we already know are that fucking stupid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Meanwhile, we find out that Trump is getting over $5 million in pay from Chinese companies for leases in his buildings.
It's a bank run by the Chinese government.
Yeah.
I listened to a very interesting Michael Cohen's Mea Culpa podcast.
He talked about that.
They did it right after it was released, right after the last debate, and he did it with an author who has dug into Trump's finances. So it went very deep.
So he's just the type of dude that the moment he says some shit about somebody else, it's really just he's talking about himself, because that's how much of a narcissist he is.
1,000%. If he accuses somebody else of something, it's because he's already doing it. That's
done it.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I want to know this. Is Rand Paul's old neighbor out and about again? Because Mitch McConnell has showed up with unexplained bruises all over himself. He did not answer questions about his health, saying only there were no concerns after reporters asked him about what appeared to be bruises and bandages on his hands in recent days. He said, "Of course not." He told the reporters in the Capitol if he had any health issues people should know about. He's up for re-election. Later said there were no concerns when asked directly by CNN about the apparent bruises or if he had any other problems. The 78-year-old did not respond when asked if he was being treated by a doctor. An aide to McConnell also declined to provide any additional details when asked multiple times about the majority leader's health. People of Kentucky, it's time.
Gotta go.
He's not well. Let him retire. He's got plenty of money. His wife's got billions and billions of dollars, even billions more than when she joined the Trump administration. Literally billions more. He'll be okay.
The governor of Kentucky is Republican also, of course, right? Yeah.
I don't recall.
Because I mean, if
I don't think so.
Oh, really?
Let me go on with your point.
I was just gonna say, like, is he gonna try to stay in and get reelected so he can die in office and the governor can replace him by name, like whoever he picks? Like,
I think Mitch McConnell gets a boner from power.
He's just gonna do it until the wheels fall off.
Yeah, he's gonna be buried with that thing poking up through. No, the governor of Kentucky is Andrew Beshear, and he is a Democrat.
Oh, okay, all right.
So I was right. I was thinking Matt Bevin. Matt Bevin is the former governor of Kentucky until 2019. So yes, the governor of Kentucky is a Democrat. So I don't know what is going to become of that, but I will say that fingers crossed. But I mean, who's beating up on Mitch McConnell is what I need.
His wife's like, "You still doing this?"
His wife is.
Yeah.
Well, his wife's family is very, very rich and very Chinese, and neither of those two things are necessarily bad. But the things that have happened to enrich her family in the time since she's joined the Trump administration, and they were already like obnoxiously rich. It's kind of concerning from an ethics standpoint. If you remember when we had ethics.
Yeah.
Remember ethics. Oh, those were the days. Ethics.
Florida.
No.
They're definitely
not
down there.
Yeah, not Florida. This is not in fact
Florida.
No, it's Oklahoma.
It's Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, where 2 Oklahoma men are behind bars after allegedly performing unlicensed gender reassignment surgery on a male victim who told cops that he met one of the defendants using online research about castration.
Castration.
I don't know why you're doing that. I mean, I guess if you're looking for gender reassignment surgery, then you might want to look into that. But I don't know that you want to go to Bob Lee Allen.
Oh, man.
Who's 53 and used scalpels to remove the 28-year-old victim's scrotum and testicles during a procedure earlier this month at his residence in Worcester, which is in eastern Oklahoma. Allen was allegedly assisted during the procedure, because of course you're not going to do that on your own, by Thomas Evans Gates, who's 42. Cops learned of the castration when the victim, who had traveled from his home in Virginia earlier in the month, went to the hospital seeking treatment. That's right. Apparently no one will castrate you at their home in Virginia. I mean, I find that hard to believe, but there it is. The victim told police that he met Allen on the Eunuch Maker website. Website, and that the amateur surgeon claimed 15 years experience.
Tell me that you did not say what I think you just said.
I'm going to read it again. I'm going to read it again. The victim told police that he met Allen on the Eunuch Maker website and that the amateur surgeon claimed 15 years experience.
How many dumb motherfuckers does it take for you to actually have a website called Eunuch Makers?
I think it's like a Craigslist.
Unclear, but I'm not clicking the link.
I think it's like a Craigslist for people that want that.
Listen, you guys have the show. You guys have the show prep. You're at home. Feel free to click the link where it says website after Eunuch Maker.
I'm not
Who
clicking on the
wants
link on my wife's computer.
Who wants that?
Look, people who are interested in gender reassignment surgery and don't want their testicles anymore might be interested in that. That's all I'm saying. The October 12th procedure, for which Alan did not charge, all right, no charge, was performed atop a makeshift table. What do you mean a makeshift table? Not even a real table?
There's a milking table.
Cops described in the probable cause affidavit the home as an oil field bunkhouse. This is a horror movie, unless of course you've asked for it. It doesn't get better, by the way. The victim, who was awake during the 2-hour castration, said Alan had injected him with an anesthetic in the needed areas prior to surgery. When the procedure was done, Alan said he was going to consume the parts and laughed and said that he was a cannibal. So that's the twist, so to speak. They weren't performing the castration because they're into castration. Oh no, they're cannibals.
Hit it. Hit the button, Nate.
Florida. That
No,
one?
Not that one.
I will eat your ass first.
Yeah, that one.
Ooh.
He deserved to be eaten for doing it.
All right. Alan, the victim said, claimed to have 6 more clients on the way to have the same operation and that he had a freezer with body parts. He also recounted an incident where he worked on someone that he described as crazy and that he left the male opened up to die overnight. Oh,
And do not call this guy a victim again.
I'm just reading. The morning after the castration, the castratee woke up with a lot of bleeding and called out for help to Alan, who reportedly replied, "No ER, no morgue," after finally agreeing to drive the victim to the local hospital. Alan allegedly warned the man that if he passed out or died en route, the body would be dumped in the woods. Well, why? Why wouldn't you eat it? Are you a cannibal or not, bitch? He's just not committed. If you're just a cannibal that eats nuts, you're not really a real cannibal. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Well, you're a nutty one for sure.
Alan and Gates were arrested October 15th when they arrived at the hospital where the victim was recuperating. During a search of Alan that day of Alan's home, cops seized an assortment of narcotics and medical utensils. They also noted that the bedroom had a deep freeze that contained a plastic Ziploc bag with what appeared to be testicles.
Oh my God.
They've been charged with an assortment of things in connection with the surgery. It resulted in the permanent disfigurement of the castratee. Both men are locked up on $295,000 bond and are scheduled for a district court hearing. So not Florida.
Wow.
All right. So they say the family that does things together gets along great. Well, hold on. I have to answer a question. Are you interested in building your credit or increasing your credit score? No.
No.
There we go. A bare-chested cannabis dealer.
Stop.
It gets better. Who brandished an axe as he confronted a good Samaritan has been jailed together with his stepson, who fired off the taser that sent the man tumbling to the floor. That's quite a first paragraph. Matthew Brown, who's 32, and Liam Phillips, who's 20, were on bail or remand under investigation at the time of playing Fields of Fray in June 2018. Now, 6 months earlier, police had raided the home they shared and found more than 150 grams of cannabis under the bath. They found 2,000 pounds of cash and 1,400 pounds worth of stolen vaping supplies. And in July, shortly after being released from a sentence for driving a van at 2 teenagers, Phillips crashed a stolen motorcycle into a BMW after cutting up cars and trying to pull wheelies on the street. jailing Phillips for 3 years and 8 months and banning him from the roads for 3 years upon release. The judge labeled the youngster's rap sheet of 31 offenses absolutely appalling and added, "You were a persistent and serial offender." Brown was given a 3-month sentence in May for blowing on police after he suggested he had coronavirus. He was handed a sentence of 2 years and 4 months. By the way, England, not Florida. Just saying.
Hey, dumbass, if you got that much weight at home, you might want to lay low. Just a thought.
Meanwhile, if you think people who don't like masks are just here in the United States, oh no, they have them in other places all over the world. In fact, here's one now. He's smashing bottles in a Tesco, which is a supermarket. Here, he's just throwing liquor bottles. He's mad. Why? Well, yeah, he didn't want to wear a mask. He told the court he would not agree to bail condition on the condition to stay away from Tesco outlets in Ireland and to remain sober. They confirmed there was an incident at the store. An investigation underway and apologized to customers. The person who took the original video summed up the situation: a very sad day watching the whiskey and wine all gone to waste. Yeah, he got mad because he refused to wear a face mask. Ireland. Florida. No, Ireland. Un-effing believable. Un-effing believable. All right, let's get it.
Cool, buddy.
Yeah, it's time for Cooler Tool. First up in Cooler Tool, having a side hustle. Jason.
Everybody needs a side hustle. I mean, listen, you can't hold it against them. Somebody for cutting off somebody's nuts. That's guy came to him for it. So cool.
Kareem, side hustle.
I'm all about side hustling.
I know you are.
I'm just not up for getting my nuts cut off.
No, you've been cutting them off. It was your side hustle.
Yeah.
I don't even want to do that either. Look,
well, especially not for free.
Yeah, not for free.
It was traumatizing enough doing it to baby pigs when I was a kid.
I will say this: needing to have a side hustle is Tool. That's what I will say. That's what I'll say. If you need to have it, it's Tool, because you should be able to, live on a job. Saying. Up next in Cooler Tool, doing stuff with your family. Kareem.
Depends on your family. But for the most part, I'm going to say cool.
Jason.
Yeah. Same situation. Generally cool.
You got to know which cousins to stay away from. But cool with an asterisk. And finally, and this one could be dangerous, the Irish. Jason.
Oh, cool.
Kareem.
It depends on whether they're drunk or not, too.
Look, if you have to put a caveat to it, it doesn't. So,
no.
The Irish are cool. Just that one angry Irish guy. One really angry Irish guy. All right. So, who saw Borat? Kareem, did you see the whole movie?
I didn't see the whole movie. I saw most of it.
Jason, what about you?
I saw all of it.
Okay. Did you enjoy the new Borat movie?
I mean, as much as you're going to enjoy a Borat movie, I mean, if that's, I guess.
I mean, I'm not gonna ask our old co-host Christiana, who clearly hates Borat.
Yeah.
To which my question would be, then why did you watch even a second of that?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no reason you have to watch it.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Is there?
No.
Right,
it's not highbrow humor, but the shit that he can get people to do amazes me.
Right. I mean, Yeah, and if you get a chance, go on YouTube and check out his interview with Stephen Colbert, where he talks about some of the behind the scenes stuff about what really happened at the gun rally. After what you saw, there's some pretty crazy shit that did not make the movie. And you know why it happened? Black Lives Matter protesters, Kareem.
I'll
Seriously.
say this. Yeah, no, I feel that Christiana's view or take on it kind of makes me sad in one sense. I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion, and I understand that Borat's not your thing, but like, I don't think that Sacha Baron Cohen ever intended or does Borat because it's necessarily funny. Like, he's not I'm sure it's not about the funny necessarily. It's about the absurdness of it and shining a mirror to what some people actually believe. And honestly, I feel like he is Borat. Like, this is how he feels about America, or how he feels that other people see what America is. You know, I don't know. And he's not a comedian. Would you say that?
Americans think too highly of themselves. I think that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
It just amazes me the shit that he can get people to do or agree to. And the only person that looked like they were like, this motherfucker's crazy, was the black lady.
Yeah, I mean, that's the look. I watched. Here was my reaction to Borat. I don't like white people anymore.
Oh man, like
those because I watched that and I saw so many terrible people doing terrible things, or just being okay with whatever. You know, even the just being cool with the anti-Semitic cake.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm you know, if it spoils Borat for you, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If the idea of an anti-Semitic cake ruins it for you.
Yeah. But no, that's exactly one of the things, right? And then just like the blatant misogyny that was like being shown and like thrown like throughout it, like the debutante ball. I mean, sort of my favorite. Like it was so ridiculous and crazy. But like just like some of the interactions at the beginning, like $500. The guy said $500, and his daughter was like, "That's disgusting." Like, and like the people, like the guys, like that's how we like him. Beautiful. Like the guy that was obviously drunk talking. Like it was just there was that. There was the women's health clinic. There was like multiple situations where just like nobody like batting an eye.
The doctor was like, "Well, if your dad wasn't here."
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I did enjoy at the debutante ball where the one dad said something and the daughter said, "Dad, that's fucking gross."
That was the $500. That's when he said $500. The daughter was like that. Yeah. I was like, right on for her.
Unbelievable. Here's a lovely heartfelt moment between the black lady and Borat and Borat's daughter.
I have enormous titties. I don't have to learn how to swim.
Your titties will not keep you from drowning. You would still have to learn how to swim.
They will protect me?
How will they protect you? They titties. Titties are not going to keep you out the water.
There you go. Titties will not keep you out the water. I think that's the takeaway from Borat.
Yes.
This woman was so nice and so patient. I mean, so nice and so patient. And I'm like, I want to find her when this is all over and give her a hug and go, "Yeah,
Yeah, I wonder though too, like certain people, if they're just set up, you know, like not set up, but like are marks, like are not marks, like Luann in the first one, you know, she plays the hooker in it, right? That he picks up and takes to the thing. She was a comedian. She was doing stand-up circuit and stuff like that. So Lunel, yeah, Luann. Yeah. So Lunel, but so I wonder if this other lady could have been that type of, like, it's difficult to, like, my wife, watched it all. So I watched it with my in-laws and everything. But like that was one of the things that Chris had said was like, you know, I question how much of this can be real, because like how do they explain away the cameras in a lot of these situations? Like they have to know something is up or there's something going on. But I guess the Steve Colbert show will kind of go into that, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, you can give a lot of reasons why there's a camera crew following someone around, and once you have that set up and people buy into it, that's great.
Yeah, I guess
I would suggest, if you're interested, I would suggest checking out the Borat Twitter feed. As he tweets, Trump very careful about who he lets into his events and house. No COVID tests necessary. High five.
OAN is most rigorous news source in America.
OAN.
Yes, sir. Major left-wing news media are consistently siding with Latin gangs and cartels.
We found multiple crimes in Ukraine the Bidens have committed.
Do you consider the term Chinese food racist?
I know this because they take my daughter into the White House. No need for security checks or COVID tests. They boring.
You took care of yourselves. Thank you very much.
The actress that played his daughter walked into the White House with the OAN reporter right into the press briefing room. No tests, no background check, no nothing.
Wow.
Nothing. And then we go into, here's where she's talking with Donald Trump Jr.
I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm really excited to meet you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Good to meet you.
Why is all of the fake journalists for the left and none on the right?
Please.
That was a question for the OAN reporter. Why are all the fake journalists on the left and not on the right? That actress was amazing. Absolutely amazing. She nailed everything with that. And one of the things Sacha Baron Cohen said was, when they asked about her, he said, look, we could not go forward with this film until we had the right person cast in it. And once we found her, we knew we had the right person, and they absolutely did. So it's on Amazon Prime. So if you have Amazon Prime, it's streaming free. Yeah. By the way, remember Kazakhstan was really pissed at the original Borat film?
Yeah.
They have now adopted the catchphrase "very nice" in their new advertising campaign.
Very nice.
Right? It caused such outrage, authorities threatened to sue Sacha Baron Cohen, but now the country's tourism board has embraced Borat as a perfect marketing tool, especially since the new film is out. It's released a number of short advertisements that highlight the country's scenery and culture. People in the video then use Borat's catchphrase. Here we go.
Very nice.
That's actually very nice.
And the tagline, Kazakhstan, very nice. I mean, it's incredibly smart to do that. Why they didn't just do that in 2006 and they could have been banking on it for years, I don't know. I just don't know. All right. So I think we're going to skip because we're getting late. Yeah. The guy okay. Here's a couple of headlines from Florida.
You dick.
Wrong one. I'm kicking it. A dude was arrested for battery after attacking his significant other with a pumpkin, and someone called 911 to alert authorities of an alien invasion. Neither of those. That's the quick version of Florida Corner for you. I want to talk about this because I was listening to a podcast today, a hockey podcast, and it revolves around the Phoenix Coyotes draft pick, and their first draft pick was in the 4th round. And he is at the University of North Dakota right now playing hockey. He has admitted to bullying a black disabled teen. And shortly after the chief executive of the Coyotes was selected to an NHL committee to fight racism in the sport, they used their first pick on an 18-year-old who is admitted to bullying an African-American classmate with developmental disabilities. Isaiah Meyer Crothers, the victim in the case, told the Arizona Republic, by the way, that he was stunned and saddened when he found out the Coyotes had drafted Mitchell Miller in the 4th round. The two grew up together in Ohio. According to the report, Miller admitted 4 years ago, when he was 14, in an Ohio juvenile court to bullying Meyer Crothers, who was allegedly tricked into licking a candy push pop that Miller and another boy had wiped in a bathroom urinal. As a result of the vicious act, Myers Crothers had to be tested for hepatitis, HIV, and various other sexually transmitted diseases, but the tests thankfully came back negative, according to the police report. He said, he pretended to be my friend and made me do things that I didn't want to do. In junior high, I got beat up by him. Everyone thinks he's so cool that he gets to go to the NHL, but I don't see how someone can be cool when you pick on someone and bully someone your entire life. Meyer Crothers, who's also 18 now, said Miller taunted him for years, constantly calling him things like brownie and the N-word, while also physically repeatedly assaulting him while they were growing up. The story notes the students at their junior high school confirmed to police that Miller repeatedly used the N-word when referring to Meyer Crothers. Attempts to contact Miller through the Coyotes, his family and attorney, were unsuccessful. The new Coyotes GM, Bill Armstrong, was not involved in drafting Miller, but confirmed the organization was well aware of the history before making the pick, adding the Arizona Coyotes do not condone any type of bullying behavior. I was unable to participate in this year's draft prior to drafting Mitchell Miller. Our scouts were made aware of his history and bullying incident that occurred in 2016 when he was 14 years old. That's not when it occurred. It occurred over several years. That's just when
he got in trouble for it. Yeah, that's when he got in trouble for it.
Mitchell sent a letter to every NHL team acknowledging what happened and apologizing for his behavior, saying Mitchell made a huge mistake, but we're providing him with a second chance to prove himself. We hope that he uses his platform moving forward to raise awareness about bullying and to help discourage this type of behavior.
Timeout. You don't get to say, I hope he does that. At this point, he should have earned a chance to be drafted. So that doesn't mean that you draft him and be like, oh, well, I hope he changed. That means he changed. Therefore, I drafted him. That's the way that's supposed to work.
Mm-hmm. They added, we are willing to work with Mitchell and put in the time, effort, and energy and provide him with the necessary resources and platform to confront bullying and racism. This isn't a story about excuses or justifications. It's a story about reflection, growth, and community impact. A true leader finds ways for every person to contribute to the solution. We all need to be part of the solution.
I hope PK Subban finds his ass and nails him up against the fucking board.
Well, it's going to be a bit because he's still in college in North Dakota. But Jason, what do you think? Is someone who has probably been bullied more than, say, Kareem and I have? What do you think of this whole situation? Do you think this dude should have been drafted? Should the punishment be no, you don't get to go to the NHL? Or what do you think?
I don't know, man. It's tough because one of the guys was a bully when I was in middle school, in high school. I'm not friends with him anymore on Facebook, but he's a Trump supporter. What that has to do with bullies and being bullied? I mean, it's tough because on one hand, people are all going through different things. And obviously, if you're 15, 14, 13 years old and you're saying the N-word, that means you're in a home where it's prevalent and being used in the first place and not being taught compassion or how to be a good human being.
Remember, we're talking about 2016.
I know, I get it. But still, like if you're raised in a household and all you've ever known is people that say that word, and that's the circle of white people you're hanging out with, I mean, you're not going to know any better. Just the way it is. I mean, it's a learned behavior, and when it's ingrained in you. So in one sense, I hope he can change. Everybody deserves a moment to change, but at the same time, like, you should not be being rewarded. And like, I don't know, man, like if they knew about this situation and didn't look more into it, or just like, oh yeah, it just happened when he was 14, let's not worry about it. And like hearing that it was ongoing and there's witnesses saying that it was the whole time that he was in school, it's a whole different situation. You know what I mean? Like there's no point of where he tried to be better until he got caught. And that's the issue that I have.
And what we don't know, the story doesn't cover, what happened after 2016. Did he apologize to him? Did he go back? Did he try to make it right? Or did he just, if you get caught for something like that and you face consequences for something like that, your reaction may be, look, I'm just not going to have anything to do with this person anymore, because now I've gotten in trouble for, in his mind, maybe the only thing this guy was good for was making fun of, and now I can't do that anymore. I mean, I don't know if that was his attitude or what the situation was. Kareem, do you think this guy deserves a shot?
No. Like, I think he should have had to earn a shot, because if he had actually changed and went back to repair the relationship with the kid, that would be in the story.
Right.
It doesn't mention that in the story, and the kid didn't talk about it. Like, he came back and made it up to me after the fact.
Yeah, I just clicked on more story. He never apologized.
Yeah. So fuck him. No, he doesn't deserve a shot. And fuck the Phoenix Coyotes or whatever the fuck you are.
Yeah.
I can't hear anything. Can you guys hear me? Because I can't hear you guys.
We can hear you fine, Jason. Can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
Oh, and he's gone.
Yeah.
No, we could hear Jason fine. Anyway, it was interesting because the podcast I was listening to was with the Montreal Canadiens, and the hosts are Canadian, and their level of, let me get Jason back in here. The podcast I was listening to earlier, Jason, I was saying was hosted by a couple of Canadians, because it was a Montreal Canadiens podcast, a hockey podcast. And one of the two hosts was literally just beside himself with anger that this person would get drafted and that the Coyotes would be giving him a chance to do that. And I just thought, as I was listening to it, I'm like, I was just hearing the difference between the standard American response to something like this and a more Canadian sort of response to something like this. I mean, the whole thing is bullshit. These guys ended up with misdemeanors and 25 hours of community service, and they had to write an apology through the court to the victim. That was it. This other kid who suffered at who knows what sort of things he's dealing with. I mean, he's got developmental disabilities. They don't go into what they are, but I mean, first of all, if you're doing that to somebody who's got disabilities, let's leave the racist side out of it. Let's just go to the part where you're fucking with somebody who has these disabilities and you know it. I mean, that in and of itself is fucking awful. And now you throw the fucking cherry on top of you're being racist about it too. I mean, fuck, man.
How many rounds are in the NHL draft?
I forget. He fell to the fourth round. My guess is without this, he probably would have gone higher, but that was the first draft pick that the Coyotes had, because they did not have any in the first 3 rounds. So this was the first guy they picked, and they might've been looking at it and going, man, this guy's like a first round or a second round talent, but he's got this thing. So let's draft him and see.
Yeah, we'll be okay with it. Fuck them.
I mean, if you're going to be anywhere and have that sort of attitude, I'm guessing Arizona is probably one of the better NHL towns to be in.
Yeah,
man, just so crazy, dude. Just so great. Like,
I mean,
I just at that age, acting like that, there's so much to say. I know that it's not always the parents, but there has to be something about that, dude. Like he was not raised in a good home. Like, picking on kid with the disabilities, like,
yeah,
man,
I don't know, but it was very interesting to hear that different perspective. And I think that's one of the things that is lacking a lot for a lot of people in America, is the idea that there are people from other places. Everybody's like, oh, you should be thinking about what people in the heartland think. No, fuck you. I know what people in the heartland think. It doesn't tax me at all to go, oh, here's what they think and here's why they think it. It's not really that far out of the realm. I think, Kareem, you and I both grew up where there are people that have that sort of, I'm going to call it small town mentality. So I don't think it's a stretch for either of us to go, oh yeah, I get what people in, I'm going to say Iowa are thinking about something. Yeah. But to then go, okay, well, what are people who are in Canada thinking about it? What do they think when they hear about X, Y, or Z? And I think the response is pretty surprising for a lot of people.
And I've been to Iowa, and I know how they think. One of my friends, one of my old coworkers was from Iowa, and I was the only. And her dad came out here to help her move. Actually, both of her parents came out. They were nice people, but her dad was a little bit racist.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure he was a whole lot more racist when I wasn't around.
And entirely possible. That seems reasonable. All right. Well, that's you know what? Let's get the fuck out of here.
Let's leave the hustle and bustle for small town news.
All right, we go down to Redding, California. Small town in Cali, but would be the largest city in Vermont by a lot. Headline: Prison, 9 election losses don't stop Redding man from seeking public office. That's right. Voters in Redding may see a familiar name on their election ballots this year. Russell Hunt, who's sought numerous elected positions in Shasta County over the past couple decades, is once again running for office. He hopes to unseat the incumbent Jennifer Snyder, who was appointed to a seat on the Shasta County Board of Education back in April. Now, the last time Hunt ran for a school board position, he lost in an attempt to win a seat on the Enterprise Elementary School District Board of Trustees back in 2018. He's previously run for a seat on the Enterprise Board at least 4 times since 2001, according to election department records. He's also run for a seat on the board of the Redding School District, whose boundaries are now separate from the Enterprise District. Now, while he's run for elected office many times in Shasta County, 2018 was his first election campaign since he was released from prison after a 2013 conviction for stalking a Redding woman. He was sentenced to 4 years, 8 months in prison and released in 2015 after serving about half of his term. His conviction was not his first brush with the law. In July 2019, a man was found murdered in a building on the property he owns. See, here's where small town journalism becomes a problem. So a man you're like, oh, this guy's a criminal. He's been to jail. And then it goes, oh, it's not his first brush with the law. A man was found murdered in a building on the property that he owns. Hunt, however, not a suspect. So
why mention it then?
What the fuck, Redding.com? Let's be fair.
That's not a brush with the law. That's not a brush with the law. That's called somebody.
Not.
That's not a brush with the law.
No. I mean, I guess it is because the law came by your house. Anyway, he was also ticketed in June of 2019 for alleged code violations that included doing work on his home without a permit.
Oh.
In Redding, get the fuck out of here. They would never do that in Redding. And
keeping a yard that posed a health and human safety risk.
He must have been doing something really bad.
By the way, he appealed the citations and paid a $450 fine. He's also run for Redding City Council, Shasta County Clerk, Board of Supervisors, and Shasta Union High School District Board of Trustees. Shasta County Clerk
in Sutter County, where they took like 4 houses and pieced them together.
Nice. Anyway, that's small town news, and that's going to do it for this episode of the WTH podcast. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us. If you have not done it yet, and you are registered, if you live in a state where you can register day of, go do it. But please vote, and please vote your conscience. And please don't vote for Donald Trump. There, I said it. Vote. Don't vote for Trump.
Yeah.
Don't do it. If you're going to vote for Trump, stay home. Don't vote.
Don't vote.
Don't vote. Because, by the way, if you're voting your conscience and your conscience says, I'm voting for Donald Trump, I question whether you have a conscience. That's just my opinion.
And,
my humble opinion.
And any black people who are thinking about voting for Donald Trump, talking about they're the same, they're not the same. It's a cop-out. You saying that they're the same as a cop-out because your sorry ass don't want to take the time to learn the differences between the two. It's a fucking cop out. Learn the fucking learn the parties, learn their policies, vote.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Everybody, we'll see you next time on the WTH podcast. Back next week with another new one. Until then, don't be an asshole. And we will see you next time. Darling New Media, here to help you tell your story.